Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at Steve Reeves' great book, Power Walking. And if you are watching this video and your name is Martin, there you go. You have a autograph to you from Steve Reeves. So I want to talk about the book Power Walking. This book came out or is copyrighted 1982. And so Steve, the story is, was at a gathering, a party, what have you, and the author, James Michener, Pulitzer Prize winning author James Michener, was there. And Steve and James Michener were good friends. And so they got to talking, and apparently a guy named Robert Vavra, Vavra. So they got to talking, and James asked Steve what he was doing and just general conversation. And somehow they got on the topic of books. Well, James Michener is an author, so makes sense. These guys convinced him just to write a little bit, maybe a page a day, and then before you knew it, you would have a book. So in the beginning of Power Walking, it says to James Michener and Robert Vavra, without their encouragement, this book would never have been written. So, I love workouts that are challenging, and I've gotten a lot more into cardio. Of course, having Steve's bike, will make you do that. And I've taken a real close look at power walking here recently. And because I have an assault runner or a treadmill in my garage, I thought this would be really interesting to play around with power walking and test it and just see. So I've been reading the book, and in the beginning, of course, Steve explains, how he came up with power walking, and basically he needed a form of exercise that didn't require any equipment, that he could do at a moment's notice, and something that was a little bit more intense than regular walking. So he says, power walking was the answer to my prayers. It satisfied every requirement. So we may do another book review on power walking in the future, but today I just want to explain my first time to do power walking and show you what my results were here. What is power walking? Well, it is a form of exercise. It's a little bit more intense than regular walking. There are six components or six factors of power walking. Number one is length of stride. Number two is rhythmic breathing. Number three is speed of cadence. Number four is distance traveled. Number five is degree of incline. And number six is amount of weight carried. So, in reading through the book, I saw that a challenging distance would be half a mile, trying to complete it in 8 minutes. So, I thought, well, because I do CrossFit and I consider myself to be an intermediate in CrossFit and a beginner in some other areas of CrossFit, I felt like my cardio was pretty good. So, I decided to wear a 14-pound vest. I did not choose to use the weights, even though those are Steve's handy weights right there. And I actually tried to use them, but on this assault runner, I kept finding myself just wobbling side to side, and they seem more of a hindrance than anything else. So I'm going to practice more with the hand weights, and I'll add them down the road. Things to remember when you're doing power walking is walk tall, posture is very important, and stride out. And that's definitely something I need to improve upon. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so I'm setting the program for distance, and then I'm setting it for 800 meters, which is half a mile. And I really like this assault runner. There's a lot of different things you can do on it. You can walk, you can sprint, you can do intervals. All right, so I've started, and this is my first time to really dig in. I've been reading the book Power Walking, and I've been really trying to understand how to do it because there's a lot of components, those six things that we just talked about. Length of stride. Steve talks about not pushing off the toe, but pushing off the heel and driving the butt into the next step. So That's what I'm really focusing on, is my stride. And then I'm focusing on my speed. I'm trying to hit 5 miles an hour, because in the book Power Walking, that's what he talks about, is doing half a mile and trying to do it at 5 miles an hour. And then one of the other factors was distance traveled, which is half a mile. Degree of incline, well, we don't have to really worry about that. You can see on the front edge, there is a little bit of an incline on the assault runner, and that supposedly is used to teach you how to run correctly. A lot of people run flat-footed, so when you're sprinting, this doesn't allow a flat landing. As you can see, it's got a small incline, and I really like that. And other people seem to really like that feature as well. So I wouldn't call that an incline, but it definitely has its uses. So here I'm starting to really swing my arms, and Steve talks about hitting a 45-degree angle right about there, and then coming back. And I can see in watching this, I'm not coming back behind far enough. You're supposed to be doing a 30-degree angle, so I need to work on doing that. Steve describes the arm motion as a pendulum swinging. And so I can see that I need to work. And you can see just there, I'm trying to correct myself, because there were a couple of times I was going so fast and learning the stride and trying to think about breathing, which is another factor. Your breathing is supposed to be left, right, left, and then breathing out as you're stepping left, right, left. And then he's got some buzzwords that you can use to work on breathing. So, the first time you do this, there's a lot to remember. And so I'm just working on knocking out half a mile in that time frame, making sure that that 14-pound vest is not too heavy, which it was not, thinking about my pendulum motion, and then focusing on pushing off the heel. And there were times when I did this, and there were times as I was doing this, that I really felt like I was hitting a good rhythm. So right here, as I look at myself, I can see that looks pretty good. I feel like I need to stride more, because Steve talks about striding out, and I probably need to just work on that a little bit. Another thing I think might help is using ankle weights. And I actually have Steve's personal ankle weights that he used for power walking. So as I get acclimated to this and make progress, I'm going to add those ankle weights as well. But I think hand weights are really going to take this to the next level. But that's just a matter of getting your form down, getting your breathing down, and making sure that your balance is good. So, there's a difference in doing this on the street or on the track and doing it on a treadmill, which, the danger is falling off. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the half mile here. And, before you do this, you should always warm up properly. So my time was 6 minutes and 38 seconds. For half a mile, my goal was 8 minutes. You can see my top speed was 5.1 miles an hour, and my lower speed was 4.7 miles an hour. My 1 mile pace was 12:45. So in the book, Steve talks about doing 1 mile in 12 minutes at a 5 mile an hour pace. So anyway, I really enjoyed doing this. I am going to keep practicing, and I'll keep showing you my progress in some upcoming videos. And if you have any questions, or if you have any experience with this, I would love to hear about it. So leave your comments below, and I will see you in the next video.